I'm Rocio Concha. I'm the Director of Policy and Advocacy and Chief Economist at Which, the Consumer Group. And I join my Emma, Cochrane, Executive Director of the Competition and Market Authority, and you are in charge of consumer protection. And we are here to talk about something very important. Around 6 months ago, you got new powers that allow you to actually enforce consumer law directly, and you recently announced the first enforcement cases using the new powers. So it's a very exciting moment. So let's start by explaining from your point of view why this is important.
So we've launched a big drive to protect consumers when they're shopping online. We know it is super important for consumers to see clear, transparent pricing information and that they're not subject to unnecessary pressure during the course of transactions. And that's why we've taken action. We have opened investigations into 8 businesses who we suspect of having broken consumer protection law. We've also written to 100 businesses in 14 sectors who we suspect might need to do more to comply with the law. And to help and support them to do that, we have issued guidance which provides concrete examples, practical and short and business friendly, to help them to understand exactly what they need to do to stay on the right side of the law.
And how you decide these cases? So what were the CMA did to get to this point?
So there's been a lot of work to get to this point. We have conducted a review across more than 400 businesses, looking at drip pricing, looking at the use of misleading time pressure in sales, and looking at the use of pre-checked boxes which default customers into buying products or services that they don't need or want. That was a review that took place across 19 different sectors, and coming out of that, we've selected 8 businesses where we thought there was suspicion that there were serious breaches of consumer protection law. We've written to these 100 businesses where we have concerns that they need to do more, and we're also providing that guidance to give them the tools to do so.
And on the cases that you have opened investigations, the 8 cases, what happened next?
So we are at the beginning of the process. We've announced that investigations are open, and there's now a process where we're going to gather further evidence, including directly from the parties. We'll hear what the parties have to say, and it's really important that we take the time and respect the rights of defence of those parties that we're investigating. And then ultimately we will take a decision as to whether consumer protection law has been infringed or not. If we do find that the law has been broken, then we can impose sanctions, we can impose penalties on those businesses of up to 10% of their global turnover, or we could order them to pay compensation to their customers.
So what impact do you think will be for consumers or all these actions that the CMA is taking?
So we are clear that consumers need the right information when they're shopping online. So we would like to see businesses across the economy taking notice of the action that CMA has taken, thinking about whether they comply with consumer protection law and where they need to, making changes that ensures that consumers see upfront pricing information. The headline price should be the price that the consumer pays. They should not be subject to drip fees. Where businesses are using countdown timers to show that a sale is coming to an end, that has to be real. And consumers always need a choice. Boxes that offer additional products or services should never be pre-ticked. Consumers need to actively choose to go for that. And looking across the piece, consumers should have confidence that they're getting a fair deal when they're shopping online.
Brilliant. And what you want business to do now?
I want businesses to take a careful look at what we're doing. The guidance that we've published is really practical. There's lots and lots of examples that are drawn from real world things that we've seen when we've been conducting this compliance sweep. So there should be plenty of scope there for businesses to look at what we said and to take action to ensure that they're in compliance, and that should drive great outcomes for consumers.
Right.
So, Rocio, Which you've been a huge advocate for consumers in this space, and it would be good to know how you see Which's role now that the CMA has these consumer protection powers.
Yeah, so as you said, we campaigned for years and years for you to get these powers. So now that you have these powers, I see ourselves in having 2 roles. The first one is to support you, but frankly also to challenge you, to make sure that you are using these powers effectively to protect consumers. And the other role is that we have is to continue using our investigative and research work to uncover bad practice, businesses that are breaking the law. And as we have done in the past, and we do with other regulators, share that evidence with you.
Absolutely. And that's always really valuable to us. And so are there particular practices that you're seeing right now where consumers are not sufficiently protected?
Cost of living continue to be a big concern for consumers. And as a consumer, it feels that everywhere you turn, you fear a ripoff, from buying things online, buying a ticket for a concert, booking a holiday, or even taking your pet to the vet. So we are hearing quite a lot of complaints about certain pricing practices and fake discounts. So it's very encouraging that the CMA is looking across a variety of sectors and taking actions in relation to these practices. And I think that the message to consumers is also very clear, which is the CMA and which will continue to protect their rights.
Our message to business is clear. It's time to check your compliance with consumer protection law. There's a wealth of support out there. Check our website. There's really practical examples to help you do the right thing. For the small number of businesses that don't, we won't hesitate to take enforcement action using our new powers.